Good day. Good day. Welcome to another segment of Woman to Woman. I am Christine Carmichael Foster, here to just share and uplift you today. I'm thankful for everyone that has decided to join the broadcast. We are just so glad to be with you. We count it an honor to be able to come every week and just talk with you, to share with you of the goodness of God, and to encourage you as you're going through in your life and making different decisions and just enduring different situations. We all have those problems. We all have things that we have to deal with in life. We all have to go through something. And today we just kind of wanted to just get on air and begin to talk about, a famous question that I'm sure we've all asked at one point in time and probably more than once. Why me, Lord? Why me? I was thinking about a movie. I'm a movie buff, as you all will probably find. I like watching movies, and I get a lot out of the movies that I've watched. I picked that up from my dad. But I watched a movie called The Last Holiday, and the key character was Queen Latifah. I don't remember what her name was in the movie, but she had been saving, working hard, just a regular everyday woman working like we all are, and saving the money that she had gotten. She had a little 401k, and she was saving everything that she had to, try to, for one day, go take a big vacation or maybe invest in a house or something of that nature. And she um, came across a problem. One day while working on her job, she met a man that she liked. She liked this guy she worked with. She thought he was a nice looking man. And while she was over talking to him in his department, she worked in a department store. She began to talk back and forth with him and ran into something and hit her head and was knocked out or knocked unconscious. Either that or she fell off a ladder, I think it was. But whatever it is, she had a mishap, and ended up her being into, the hospital, or the doctor that worked on, seeing at the store was the one who she had to be able to see. And they took her to the hospital. After she ended up at the hospital and was seen by a specialist and had her head examined, the main thing that happened, the first thing that happened at the end of that test, she's looking, for the doctor to tell her, you got a concussion, you're going to be okay. You're going to, get a couple of days off work. You just need to rest a little bit and you'll be all right. Well, she got bad news. She got that, I believe it was Lambden's disease or something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong, but she had developed some type of disease that only gave her like 6 weeks to live. She had a dream book. She loved to cook, and she had all of these dreams and all of these things that she wanted to accomplish, all in her book. And she was saving her money up for this particular time, set time in her life to be able to do these things. And all of a sudden, in one day, she has a disease that is going to terminally, terminate her life within 6 weeks. So there came to a scene in the movie where she was in church. She was a Christian. She was in her church and they were having choir rehearsal. She's in the choir singing a song, and I don't know what they were singing at the time, but her body was there, but her mind was not. And while she began to sit there, she began to start saying, "Why me, Lord? Why? Why me, Lord? What did I do to deserve this? I've been a good Christian. I paid my tithes. I've given my offering. I've done this and I've done that. Why me, Lord? Why in heaven's me?" She was so lost in what was going on in her own personal life that the choir in the scene turned it into a song. And we know that when it comes to, religion and especially us of color, we can make a song out of anything. We take music and it carries us, and through each and every storm. So this "why me, Lord" turned into a why in heaven's me, and the choir just started following. So you're just setting that scene, so hopefully you can kind of picture in your mind what might have been going on in this movie, which is why I talk to you about this today. Just as this key character went through a scene in her life or a time in her life where she had all these dreams and all these visions and things that she wanted to accomplish that were changed overnight to something that there was no way in the world she would ever accomplish. She was faced with making some decisions very quickly, things that she knew she wanted to do. She couldn't figure out how it would even happen now that she knew she only had 6 weeks to live. We all have asked that question. Why me, God? We had those dreams, these visions, things that we wanted to do in life, and as children we had dreams. We saw yourself as a school teacher. I used to try to do school teaching, and I had all kinds of things that I wanted to do. But God has a different plan for our lives, and sometimes that plan, you know, causes uncertainty. We don't understand. We don't know what's happening from one minute to the next. And most times with us as women, not knowing, not only women, but human beings, not knowing what's happening from one minute to the next causes an uneasiness for us. And that's where we have to get to the point where we're trusting in the Lord and God that we serve, that whatever his plans are, he says, my plans, I have plans for you, and they are for your success. And sometimes they will differ from what you plan to do in the beginning. But God said that they are for our success, and whatever plans that he has, they will turn out for the best for us. There's a song that I heard recently. I have heard the song before, but I was at a service that I attended, and a group of young ladies sang this song, and it really ministered to me that day. That says, whatever you do for me, and however things turn out to be, as long as you're in control, I know that things will work out for me. And back in the old days, or they used to sing a song, Lord, whatever you do, for me, I'll accept it. And that was a song I did not sing when I was younger. I wouldn't sing it because I believe in singing things that I believe, that I in my heart really can accept. And at that time, I was being honest with myself. I wasn't accepting whatever God said he wanted to do in my life. I just, there were things I had in my mind. There were things that I had that I wanted to do. And I just didn't understand the concept that God knows what he's doing. And he looks down from time and beyond time at our lives and knows what we need. And he knows what's best for us. So just like um, the character in the movie asked why, as I said, we all have asked why. There have been plenty of times that I have asked God why. I've done this and I've done that. Why is this happening to me? Why do I continually seem to have to go through this? Why does it seem like, maybe for somebody who's been waiting on a mate for a while, why does it seem like this new girl just came in church and all of a sudden she has a husband? I'm still sitting here, Lord, after 10 years. Why is it that I can't find my mate? Why hasn't he found me, rather? Why is it that I'm going through the situations that I have to go? Why am I being tested in this way? There have been times in my life, situations that I have come up against, even after all you've tried to do. You tried to do the right thing. You worked. You've taken care of you this, and you've taken care of that, and yet you still sometimes are misunderstood, and or things just don't go the way you planned them, and you try to figure out, God, why is it this that I have to go through this? Why me? I can imagine that Job asked that same question when he began to go through. He was an upright man, the Bible tells us so, that he had done everything that God had told him to do. Yet he came to a time in his life when he lost everything that he had, that he lost. He lost his children. He lost his wife. She left him. You know, he was sick unto death. And he was so sick that even his friends left him. Everybody that was in Job's life left, except for God. He said, I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you. And he does just what he said. He stayed with Job all the way through each and everything that he endured. And he blessed Job double for his trouble. I want to encourage you today by this segment that whatever you're going through, whatever you are facing today, God understands and he knows why you have to go through this way. There have been things that I would have thought that I would have had by now. There have been times when I've, gotten on my knees crying. I'm telling you, crying out, Lord, I don't understand, Jesus. I just don't understand. I am doing this. I've done that. Whatever you've asked me to, I have served you from my youth. I have tried to treat everybody right, but yet and still, I'm seemingly going through this and that. I'm being tested in this area, and I don't understand why. And sometimes, one time it was the area that I was asking God, Lord, everything that I've done, I'm trying to do everything. I'm trying to show love to everybody, and it seemed like people were just, not receptive. They, just kind of like rejected me at that time. And I began to ask God about it, and the Lord said to me, they rejected me. And I said, as soon as I heard God say that to me, I dried up the tears I had. I said, Lord, you're right. They did reject you. Your own rejected you. Those that you love, those that you came to sacrifice your life for, they rejected you. But yet you still went to the cross. You still endured. You took up your cross and you continued your purpose to meet your purpose. And I know that Jesus, who was a human being walking the earth at the time that he was here, I know he asked the Lord. He asked the Father, why me? When he began to walk the earth down to his last, right before he was being captured by the Roman soldiers, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he began to pray and talk to God. And he said to him, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass. I really believe that was why me, Lord. If I don't have to go through this, can you please, let me bypass this step? But he knew that he had a purpose. He understood that he had a purpose. He may not have wanted to endure the purpose, go through what he had to go through to meet the purpose. But what he did that made his battle better was the fact that he resigned himself to accept the will of the Lord. Because he said, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. And that is where God is trying to get all of us, because as human beings, as I said, we're going to ask those questions. And it's okay to ask the Lord why. He may not always give you a direct answer, but I guarantee you that he will console you. He will console and bring you through. He'll let you know that you're not by yourself and that you're not alone, that he is there, that he is there to lift. He is there to encourage. He is there to hold you while you're going through the various tests, your walk of life. We each have a walk that we have to go through. And there are going to be days when it just seems like life is just not fair. Everybody, it seems like the ones sometimes that are not living right, they got the better jobs and cars and houses, and you're trying to do everything that you know is right to do. You treat people right, or maybe you're working hard in your church and you're raising all of your children, and sometimes that doesn't always turn out the way you plan to either. But God sees and knows everything. He knows everything, and he knows the tests and the trials that we have gone through. There have been things that I haven't gone through, and I'm like, Lord, the Bible says you reap what you sow. I didn't do anything to reap this. What did I do to deserve going through this trial and this test? But in hindsight, I have found out that many of the things that I've gone through, that I have gone through, I haven't shared all, but a lot of them I'm able to use today to help others. They have been tested. I have endured that. The Lord has brought me through. And because of me going through it and allowing God to bring me through them, when somebody else goes through something similar, I have something to go back to them with to help them make it through their version of the test. Their end may not be the same, but they at least won't have to go through it alone. We can't help one another unless we have some type of experience. We have no experiences, we have nothing to share. If we be honest, if anybody that's trying to help you or to talk to you about a situation, if they don't have some type of personal experience, it's kind of hard to um, allow them to help you or to receive totally everything that they have to say from time to time, because they don't really understand. But if they do understand, or they have been through something similar to what you're going through, when they start talking, you can tell when they start talking that they know what they're talking about. And I have been through situations. I can tell women that have their husbands walk out on them, that you can make it, that you don't have to settle and just take any and everything, or bring Tom, Dick, and Harry and Joe into your life, just trying to be loved. You can learn to love yourself. You can work and take care of your children and do what you have to do, and wait for God to send you somebody who will love you for who you are. I have been through that. I've been through the abuse. I've been through the ridicule and the mistreatment, and still gathered up my little posse, my little four chicks, and with the help of God, I made it. With the help of the members of our church, people encouraging me in the community. I've had people walk up to me, drunks, people that were drunk, who didn't know me from Adam, but walk up to me and encourage me and let me know, you're a good woman and God's going to bless you. God's going to give you a good man one day. And I'm talking about people that were drunk. God will use whoever he wants to encourage you. So don't turn away, from whoever he might use. Sometimes we ask God for deliverance, or we ask him for an answer, but then we don't want to receive the way the answer comes. I've also often shared the story about, the person that was out on the boat, and the boat flipped. They ended out in the water and they were getting ready to die. And they were crying out to God for to save them. Lord, send me help, God. Help me, Lord. Help me. And the Lord sent 3 or 4 different methods to help them. And then when they drowned and went back to before God in heaven, and they said, well, Lord, why didn't you save me? He said, well, I sent you a boat. I sent you this and I sent you that. And you didn't want to take it. Sometimes we miss our blessings, the answer to our solutions or the solution to our problems, because we're looking for it to come from one way, and God has a whole different way of bringing us out. He sends it a whole different way. When I was, my personal respect, I like men. What we pick out, I always tell people, we pick out one thing, and God has a whole different perspective on what we need and what we would like. But I had the thing where the guy had, was a little muscular, maybe a little different build, and that was kind of like my thing. There were certain things that I liked, and all of us got things that we liked. But when God sent me my husband, he was a slender man. Now he dressed, I like that, and there were different things about him that were totally different from the outside of what I would normally pick. Okay. But at that time, after having gone through the things that I had endured prior, I had resigned myself to, Lord, whatever you do for me, and however you choose to work things out for me, as long as you're in control, I know it's going to be work out for me. So I have resigned myself to whoever God chose for me. And God's not going to give you something that you're not going to love, or somebody you're not going to like. When he sent my husband my way, he was the perfect man for me. God handpicked him for me. And he was good looking, you know. Maybe not the original what I usually used to pick out, which at that time, like I said, I gave that up. I wasn't looking at what I would pick out anymore. I wanted what God wanted from me, you know. And God knew not only the outside of the man that would attract me, but also he knew the inside, the makeup of this man. You know, he knew that he would be a man that would provide for us. He knew he would be a man that would love me and push me and take care of me and my chicks, all my little kids. And he came with a package too. And he knew that I was the person that my husband would need and that I would love and on the kids that he had. And those children today are not stepkids on either side of our family. They are our children. They call me mom and my husband dad. And if people didn't know, you could not tell the difference. You don't see the difference between them. And I'm thankful to God for that. And I say that because God has a plan for you. Don't get lost in the why me. You know, you're not going to understand everything right off. You know, God is sometimes just going to tell you, just trust me. Just trust me to know that I know what I'm doing. I know what you need. I know what you need 10 years from now. I know what you're going to need 20 years from now. Back then, I didn't know that I would be a pastor's wife. I didn't know that I would have to, be a pastor's wife and a lady in the church to lead the other women. I didn't know that, I would be out here on Woman to Woman. I did not know that a lot of the testimonies and the things, the tests and trials that I have endured would lead me to the music that I have today. The 2 CDs that I've written, a lot of them have come out, my songs have come out of the experiences of my life, things that I have learned, things that God has taught me, all of those things. Everything that we go through, God is not going to waste one iota of what you're going through, what you've been through, what you're going through, and what you will go through. He's not going to waste any piece of it. All of it, he's going to use for his glory. He has a plan, and his plan is for your success. So don't ask why me. Just ask God to help you to accept what he's doing, knowing that he is in control and he knows what is best. And as long as he's in control, you know that everything that you go through, none of it will be wasted. All of it's going to work out. It's going to work out in a good way for you. And if you trust him while he's taking you through, even when you don't understand, if you trust him, you will find out God knew what he was doing. He understood what he was doing. And later in life, you'll get to where I'm starting to be. Now, I'm not telling you I've crossed every bridge on it, but I'm getting to that point, and it brings me to tears, when to think, God, I'm finally accepting that you have a plan. And maybe that plan may not be what I originally thought my life would be. But I realize and know that you love me enough to not put more on me than I can bear, and to not leave me in the midst of my trials and my tests, and that whatever I go through, it's going to work out for the best for me. Whatever I'm going through, whatever you're going through today, realize that God has a plan and it's going to work out for the best. And all that you've gone through, God promises in his word, just like he told Job, he gave him double for his trouble. If you continue to trust him and believe him and do what God wants you to do, he will give you double for your trouble. He has certainly given me double for all the things that I've gone through and all the tests that I have endured. My bad situations, everything that looked like at that time I was never going to come out of. God has doubly blessed me. He doubly blessed my family. And I'm thankful today for what he has done. Is life over? No. Will I have to endure more? I'm sure. But I know that God's plan is going to work out for the best. And if I trust him, He'll be with me through the end. Even to death, God said he will be with us till the end. So I trust him in that thing. I want to encourage you to trust him. It might be questionable. Sometimes you may have to say, why, Lord? But get it together. Gather yourself up. Think about where God has already brought you from. How many times that he's already, brought you out of situations that you couldn't see your way out. There have been many, many battles that I have faced that didn't look like I couldn't see my way out of them at all. Situations sometimes with our children where they had things that they had to face, and we had to walk through them with them, and we didn't know how it was going to turn out. But that was where, when I say I didn't know how, I didn't know in the flesh how, but in the spirit, I knew by the word of God that God said that everything that we go through, he will make a way for escape. He's never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. That's when I had to gather myself up and pull in that word of God and put it to action and believe it. Believe what Jesus said until I saw the outcome. And I'm here to report that every situation that I have gone through, every situation, and I mean, we've been through some humdingers, but God has brought us out of all of them with the victory. And I give him praise today for that. He will do the same for you. One of my daughters I talk to sometimes, I talk to all of my kids and different ones, but one of my daughters in particular, she had experienced some rocky roads in her life, and she call and say, Mom, and sometimes when these things come up, the kids will call and express where they're at, and I let them talk and share what they want to share on their heart. But this particular one was sharing her situations that she was going through, and she just said, I just don't understand it, and why I got to go through all this stuff. Just like I just said, why me, Lord? And I told her, I said, sometimes we have to go through things for other people. Sometimes it's not for us. Sometimes it's this test that we go through or so that we're able to help others. She said to me, well, I'm going to need other people to start going through their own tests for themselves. And that cracked me up because that was just her feeling, natural feeling. And I understood it. It was funny because, yeah, we feel like, well, why do I have to go through this for you? But if we think about it, Jesus went through to his death for us. He paid a debt he did not owe. He paid a debt that he did not owe. He paid it forward for us so that we could have a right to the tree of life, that we would have the right to live freely from guilt and shame. He bore all of that on the cross for us, and he didn't have to do it. So if Jesus could carry his cross, why can't we carry ours? I don't know what your cross is today, and I wouldn't dare belittle it, because I know that what you have to go through is not going to always be easy. It's not always easy for me, but I want you to know, if you start looking at it from a different perspective, looking back at the things that you already have been through and how many times that the Lord has brought you through. How many times when you didn't think you could take one more thing, that he opened the door, that he made a way, that he consoled you, that he lifted you. When you didn't have food on the table, how he touched somebody's heart to bring some by. When you were sick, how he healed your body. When you didn't see your way through, how he came by and made a way. When you didn't have a car, how he blessed you either with a ride or somebody, that gave you a car. How he did these things when you didn't see, when you had to go to court and it didn't look like you were going to be the winner, but God brought you out. He was your lawyer in the courtroom. How he delivered you time and time again. If he did it before, he will do it again. And remember, everything that you have gone through and ever will go through, God will not use for his purpose. He's going to use it all for his purpose. Things will work out as long as He is in control, I want you to know that things are going to work out for you and me. Be encouraged today. Don't ask the Lord, why me? Just tell Him yes. God bless you. I hope that you have enjoyed this segment today. I have certainly enjoyed being here with you all, and I look forward to being with you again next Saturday on the Woman to Woman channel at 2 p.m. God bless.